We can use GitHub Actions along with Stackhawk to automate vulnerability scanning with a Zap scanner in our projects. Under the hood, Stackhawk uses Zap to do the scans, but essentially wraps Zap up into all sorts of integrations with Slack, GitHub, Jenkins, and all sorts of other tools to make it a lot easier to bring it into the CI/CD pipeline. Now, Zap works just fine by itself, and you can do the integrations. It's just easier with a tool like Stackhawk. The downside of using a tool like Stackhawk is that for anything but the developer version, there is a subscription fee. So you can balance whether or not you want to do a little bit more work and use the 100% free tools, or whether you want to go with a low-cost solution that's not free, like Stackhawk, but makes it a little bit easier to get this CI/CD pipeline going. So let's go ahead and take a look at how to do the integration with Stackhawk. First off, when we create our account, we're going to have a API key created. If you missed that step, then go over to your settings under your account. When you click on settings, there's going to be different options. Go to your API keys, and you'll find your API key over there. So remember that API key. We're going to use that later on. We also need to know an application ID. This is nothing more than an identifier that Stackhawk uses to know where to put the scan results. So you can click on the Add an App button over here on the right-hand side, and that'll let you create a new app. A new app ID is going to be made by the Stackhawk website for each app that you create. And you're going to need that application ID. This is how the scanner knows where to put the scan results when it sends them back over to the cloud server. So we'll need a copy of that API ID. We're going to use that in the configuration. The API key is sensitive, so we don't want to actually put it in our source code. We can use Github Secrets to solve that problem. If you haven't seen how to set up Github Secrets, there's a video on this same channel that you can watch that goes into detail. But the short of it is, we're going to take that API key, we're going to go to Settings, scroll down, click on Secrets, New Repository Secret, and we're going to create that secret. Now, if you read the documentation on Stackhawk's website, they tell you that the scanner is going to look for that key in hawk_API_key environment variable. So be sure to use that name when you create the secret. But otherwise, this is nothing more than that API key string stored in this particular variable here. So now we have our application ID and we have our API key stored as a GitHub secret. With those two things accomplished, we're going to go set up our files. The way that the system works is it looks for the configuration files in specific directories. So in the root directory of our project, we're going to create the stackhawk.yaml file. And in the GitHub workflows folder, we're going to put the hawkscan.yaml file. These two files will allow the scanner to read all the information it needs to do the scan. And these files are fairly small, but they're important to get correct. So let's go through them one by one. The stackhawk.yaml file is fairly straightforward for this project. It's just the app section, which has that application ID we talked about. So now the scanner is going to know where to put the results. And the location of the application as it is running on Docker. Notice this port 8080 here. We'll talk about that more in a second, but this is an important note. So now with the stackhawk.yaml file, the scanner has two critical pieces of information: where to find the app and where to send the results. Let's look at the Docker Compose file. We made a slight change in the Docker Compose to expose the application to the scanner. One of the changes that needs to be made is to make sure that the application is running on a port that the scanner can get to. The scanner runs with a low privileged account. It cannot access low ports like port 80. Those are less than 1024. What you can do, though, is just expose the application on a port that's above 1023. So, for example, 8080. If By adding this extra line into the docker compose.config, I also exposed the application on port 8080. A cleaner way to do this would be to create independent docker compose.yaml files for development and production. And in development, have this line here, and then in production, use the regular line, which of course in production would really be 443 because you're going to run your production app with HTTPS. But this will get the job done for demonstration purposes. Now let's take a look at the scan configuration file. Really, it's the GitHub action configuration file. Per GitHub, we create a .github directory, and inside of that, a workflows directory. And so we're just following the GitHub standards when we use these names. And inside of that, we're going to put our hawkscan.yaml file. I got the basic file off of the Stackhawk documentation and then just made some very minor changes to it. So the file says that the scanner is going to scan whenever there's a push into the GitHub repo. So every time we do a code push, we're going to get a new scan on our code. The job's name is going to be hawkscan, and it's going to run on an Ubuntu container. So GitHub is going to automatically fire up an Ubuntu container. It's going to run these following commands on that container, and then we'll have our actions actually being performed on this ephemeral container. So here's where we tie together the workflow with the scanner. This first line here is going to run our application and expose it on that port 8080, which is where the stackhawk.yaml file told the scanner the application would be. So you can see how all that ties together. As far as actually getting the scanner installed and running, that's all done by this script that is supplied by the team at Stackhawk. All we do is refer to it, and they maintain that script, and they'll keep it updated and make any necessary changes. And then finally, we also provide the scanner our API key through that variable secrets.hawk_API_key, which, if you recall, was the name of the key that created in GitHub Secrets. It's important to wrap it in this $bracket syntax so that the key will be replaced in this spot whenever the GitHub action runs. You want to make sure you use the secret because collaborators and others can read your GitHub Actions code, and you don't want everybody to be able to see the secret. So now we have everything set up, and we just need a change to kick off the scan. In this case, I'm just going to make a change to the README file for demonstration purposes because I need some kind of change to push. But normally, this would be you pushing your code. So let's say that we just made this slight change here. And now we do a git commit to commit the change. And we're going to give it a message. Incidentally, this message will be the name of the workflow run that runs this particular scan. So we'll just say updated README file. And then we want to make that commit and then push those changes. So now I've pushed all the changes over to GitHub. Let's go take a look at the actions. So we click on actions, and we see that there's a new workflow run, and its name is the name of the message that we used when we did the git push. If we click on the run, we'll notice that it's running the jobs that were inside the run. And we only had one job. If you recall, we named it hawkscan inside of the hawkscan.yaml file. And so we can see that job running inside of the run. We click on the job, and you can see the steps. Right now, it's trying to run that docker compose up-d, getting our application up and running on port 8080. And then eventually, it'll run the Stackhawk action, which is the code created by the Stackhawk team to run the scanner and point it at our application based on the configuration that was in the stackhawk.yaml file. So all that is going now. As the scan gets up and running, if you come back over here to your Stackhawk dashboard, you'll be able to see the scan under your scans list. So here's an older scan I did earlier. I'll get that one out of the way. And then when the new scan comes in, it'll be at the top of the scans list here, and it'll automatically get going based on the GitHub action right over here. So we can see the GitHub action is now pulling down the scanner itself from Stackhawk HawkScan latest on Docker Hub. And then it'll use the information in our config files, like the application ID right here, and the path to 127.0.0.1.80.80, which came right out of our config file. And now it's going to fire up the scanner, point it at the port 8080, scan the app, and then send the results back to the dashboard based on the application ID. And it's at about at this time you should see the scans start to appear over under your scans in the Stackhawk dashboard. And you can click on the scan if you want, and you can see what's going on inside. Typically, these scans run for about 45 minutes to an hour, but that's definitely going to depend on your particular application, how big it is, and how complicated it is. Just expect the scans to take a while, even for a moderately sized application. So you can see that setting up the GitHub Actions does have some fiddly options. You have to be careful about those few lines of configuration that you do. Each line is important. But overall, getting it set up is not too bad once you see how to do it. Hopefully this helps you get your CI/CD pipeline with automated scanning without too much effort on your part, so that you can automatically get your vulnerability scanned every time you do a code push.